Coming this fall from Freakquency Studios, a sequel that doesn't suck, featuring your floral father and Negrito baby, is the Entrepreneurial Commandments 2. Tell me I don't have a perfect movie trailer ass voice, bro. I'm gonna edit, you know, I'm gonna edit that to look like a cool ass movie trailer with music and explosions. It's gonna be some Fast and the Furious type beat, but we're back, baby. This is the first 2-part episode in Freakquency Podcast Studios history, bro. En la historia. So, as always, we busting out a cult classic, the aha, and we gonna do a cheers to that. Boom, cheers. Cheers, my friends, Negrito baby, to many more blessings. We live in an abundance of health, wealth, love, and happiness here at the Freakquency. And I love you, Negro. And I love you guys too. So put your drinks up. Take a sip of that. What is this? What we packing today? That lime watermelon. Damn, that was so extra, bro. I really put some twang on the end of that. That's like when a girl texts you, hey, with like 3 Y's. I said, put like 5 A's at the end of that thing. But it's okay, man. We're here, and you guys already know what we're jumping into today. I got a lot of good feedback from the last episode. They said it was very... Here, critics are raving about Entrepreneurial Commandments Part 1. The New York Times says the best educational podcast ever. In the history of educational podcasts, goddamn, this shit is good. Holy crap. Send it to your mother and your friends whose lives are falling apart because they need to hear this. Reporter from the New York Times. The LA Journal, is that even a news outlet? Big famous news outlet says Floral Father really delivers his punch and his education and all the words he has to say so eloquently and deliciously and feeds them directly into your mouth hole. Oh my God, it's so good. LA Times. What am I even saying right now, bro? Negro, why you treating my couch like a jungle gym, my boy? Anyways, I got a lot of good feedback on the first podcast. Sorry, I'm on X Games mode right now, bro. I just pounded the cafecito time, and now we're drinking the That's how my brain works and operates, bro. I don't know. I should probably seek therapy or something, but... Anyways, bro, I got a lot of good feedback on that first episode. A lot of y'all told me that it was very eloquent. My dad's review was not as many F-bombs. I'm proud of you. And my girl liked it. My primos liked it. And that pretty much sums up everybody that watches this podcast. So thanks for reaching out, my guys. And yeah, man. So today we're going straight into part 2. Now that the babositas are out of the way, bro. It's been a while since I've had a podcast with straight babositas, but that's called growth. That's called character development. We're really coming into our own and really dialing in what this podcast is about, which is self-improvement and mental health and getting your life in order and going the transformation from a degenerate to an honorable person of society. So let's get into it. Where did we leave off? Number 13. And if you thought last week's episodes were good, bro, I read through the rest of this list and I was like, God damn. This shit is good today, bro. So buckle up. Number 13. You have to believe in yourself before anyone else does. That's the cornerstone upon which real confidence is built. I say this all the time, bro. If you're not feeling yourself, who gonna feel you? I literally said that like 2 episodes ago. If you're not feeling yourself, who's gonna feel you? If you're not believing in yourself, no one else is gonna believe in you, bro. And this kind of starts with building confidence really starts with doing things that you are proud of and doing things that you know are fire. And that starts with simply just believing in yourself, to push yourself out of your comfort zone, to tackle things that you may or may not fail at. But failure, ay, puta madre, no mames, you are very cute and I loved you. What was I saying though? But failure builds literally confidence, bro. Because when you believe in yourself, even if you fall flat on your face and you have the courage to get back up from a failure and continue striving and continue pushing, and then you do start getting those W's, you do start getting those successes, bro, the confidence builds from that. But to even get to that point, you have to believe in yourself that you can achieve all these goals, or you can achieve even the simplest things, bro. Believing in yourself is so sexy, and believing in yourself is the biggest grower of confidence. Sorry, my mind got kind of scrambled when Negrito jumped on me because now I'm just bombarded with cuteness. But if you don't believe in yourself, no one else will. Number 14, if you can't find a good person, be one. And there's a quote I love out there, bro. I was watching this other podcast. I'll steal it. It was Dr. Joe Dispenza. If you guys don't know who that is, look him up. He's really into like altering your brain to think positively, to already be living in the life that you envision yourself living, to already be there, and that your brain will adapt and start creating that reality for you. He's an amazing neuroscience type of dude, but he said, somebody asked him, Dr. Joe Dispenza, how do I find the perfect person, or how do I find love or the perfect person for me? And he said, think about the person you envision yourself being with. Think about all their attributes, their characteristics, their morals, how they present themselves, how they carry themselves. Think about the perfect person you want and then become that. And that kind of goes with this saying, bro, if you can't find a good person, be one. I feel like a lot of people feel like the world's out to get them, or when people aren't nice to them, they're so easily convinced to turn cynical or to be a piece of shit or an asshole or whatever. But if you can't find a good person, be one. And when you are a good person, it's crazy how many opportunities and how many good people you start to meet after that. Because when you become the thing you want to be, you start to attract those people. You start to attract that. Whatever it is you want to be, you become that and you start to attract that. So number 14, if you can't find a good person, be one. Number 15, stay curious, question everything, and if you want something, ask for it. If you want something, ask for it. I feel like a lot of people are afraid to ask for anything because they don't want to feel like a nuisance, or like they're pestering, or like they're bothering / begging for an opportunity or something. But quite literally, a lot of people miss out on so many opportunities just because they don't ask. Never be afraid to ask for anything. For me especially, bro, I'm one of those people that likes to do everything on my own. I feel like I get more satisfaction when I know that I'm creating and tackling obstacles and problems in my life head on by myself and overcoming them. I get a lot of satisfaction out of that. But sometimes I have to just kind of humble up, take a step back, and realize, hey, I need to ask for help from friends, from family, from whoever it is. But much deeper than that, or on a bigger scale, quite simply, if you want something in life, bro, just ask for it. You'd be surprised how many times just asking can take you a long way. You'll get way more yeses than you originally expected. So ask for stuff. And the top part, stay curious and question everything. Absolutely question everything, bro. Knowledge really do be power. And knowing more things and staying curious about the world and not closing yourself up. I feel like a lot of people, they get these beliefs and misconceptions or conceptions or whatever, these thoughts and ideas, and then they just stick to those for a long period of time, and they stay so close-minded that they don't want to learn about anything else because they think the way that they think and operate is the way, the truth, and the light, you know? But if you stay curious and are open to changing beliefs, are open to learning about different cultures, different people, different experiences, and different opportunities, you're going to grow and you're going to expand your brain, your knowledge, and you're going to be a well-versed person, a more versed and versatile person that you'll be able to build new relationships, tackle new endeavors and really just create and be open to new experiences. You know, like a lot of things can happen if you just stay open and stay curious and don't limit your beliefs and don't limit your understanding of the world around you, you know? Number 16, we're kind of flying through these today, but honestly, last episode, I feel like I lingered a little too long and I only got 12 done out of 27, I believe. So I want to keep these short and impactful today. 16, the life you experience is simply a reflection of your mindset. I sound like a broken record on this one. I've said this so many times on the podcast. A lot of the way you experience the world and the way you perceive things starts with your mindset. And if your mindset is negative, this kind of goes back to the one about believing in yourself. If you don't even believe in yourself, how's anyone going to believe in you? That's your mindset. That is your own self-limiting beliefs holding you back. Your mindset, if it's positive, it's almost like a magnetic energy. If you are warm, open, kind of staying curious, if you are open to stuff and you are just warm and inviting to new opportunities and you have a positive mindset, you are going to attract positive opportunities and positive things, man. The life you experience is simply a reflection of your mindset, man. I couldn't put that any better myself. And if you stay positive and you have a positive mindset and you really take the time to take care of not just your physical body, but your mind, you will start to live a happier life. Things that used to annoy you just won't even faze you anymore. You'll start to be more grounded. You'll start to appreciate things a little more. You'll start to appreciate, the mundane things. I feel like a lot of people just look over mundane shit because they're like, that's just life. This shit's boring, or this is just the stuff I have to do. I have to wake up. I have to go to work. I have to come home and cook something and whatever. You can live in a mindset of I have to do these things, or you can live in a mindset of I get to do these things. I'm blessed to have another day. I'm blessed to have to be breathing still and to have another day, to get to do these things. And when you just kind of live in that mindset consistently, you'll start to warp your reality around you, and you'll see that things, I don't want to say are brighter, but life is more beautiful. And when you truly believe this and you start to live in an existence of beauty and just see the world in a positive light and in a positive manner, like I said, I keep reiterating this, you start to attract that. So your life experience is simply a reflection of your mindset. Number 17, consistency outweighs intensity, or consistency is greater than. That's a technical term for this little hieroglyphic right here. Consistency is greater than intensity. And I truly believe that, bro. Intensity, don't get me wrong, there's a time and a place for intensity in terms of your work. I'm going to relate this to the gym. If you have intense workouts, which you should be striving for anyways, but say you're new to the gym and you're like, I'm going to get into the gym. And you go intense as fuck your first day and then your second day. And then by the third day, you're feeling those two workouts and your whole body's sore. This is a new pain you're not used to. You're going to burn yourself out quicker, and you're going to be like, oh, I kind of need to take a day to let my body recuperate. And then through that day, you're going to be like, I'm still kind of hurting the next day. And then eventually those two really good workouts are going to be for nothing because you're not going to be able to take your ass to the gym anymore because you're just in too much pain. As opposed to if you hit it consistently and you're like, hey, this is my first day in the gym in a while. Let me just do a light workout, start to get in the routine of things. And then day 2, kind of the same thing. You are feeling a little sore, but it's not overbearing. It's not jarring. It's not a pain that you can't deal with. And then day 3, you start to kind of, add to the workout, that progressive overload, day 4. And then before you know it, you've gone to the gym for a whole week. And you've been consistent with it. You haven't killed yourself in the gym. You've been consistent with it to the point where your body can adjust. Your body can get used to the movements you're doing. And then by the next week, you can start to progressively overload and add more weight or add intensity or add whatever it is. Consistency in any field really gets you to the goal. Is really the roadmap to get to the destination you are seeking or the fulfillment that you're looking for, intensity is good, but consistency is the way to do it. It's kind of like, I want to shout out my homie Slang Dogs, bro. They've been consistent with dropping music since like 2019 when I went to school with them. And now they're playing music festivals. They are dropping on major labels. They're collaborating with big artists. They're doing all this stuff, but they had to stay consistent with it and just truly believe in themselves, believe in their project to reach the destination they are now. And now they're pretty much living out their dream, doing this stuff. Are they where they want to be? No, I'm sure they want to be playing bigger festivals. You always want to grow. You always want to evolve. But that consistency from 2019 to now 2022 has opened up so many gateways and so many avenues for them to continue doing what they love to do. And consistency gets you where you want to be, man. I am at a point now where a lot of people compliment my physique. They compliment my body. A lot of dudes are like, whoa, relax, buff guy, like all this shit. And I don't think I'm not anywhere near I want to be. But it's the consistency throughout this whole entire year that got me to where I wanted to be. Or at least to where, a point where I'm satisfied and I'm proud of how far I've made it, you know? And I want to continue being consistent and working on my physique, working on my mental health, working on my endeavors. Right now, the main one is this podcast. And like I said, I don't sleep on this podcast. There are times where I'm like, fuck, I have to crank out a podcast. But like I said earlier, it's not I have to crank out a podcast. It's I get to crank out a podcast. I like to do this. And even on the days where I'm kind of just, mentally hindered, or I'm not feeling 100% myself, or I don't feel like getting in front of a mic and talking for an hour, I still get to do this. This is something I like to do. And I know that if I stay consistent with this, over time, word of mouth, if I start, getting off my lazy ass and actually posting, TikTok clips or Instagram reels or whatever and promoting it harder. But right now, I'm just staying consistent with dropping content, staying consistent with the gym, staying consistent with the self-improvement, focusing on myself, getting better at, everyday things, getting better at talking to people, charisma, actual self-confidence. I really am taking this year to focus on myself, to come into my own body, which I feel like I've already done, man. I love the person I am, and I love the person I continually become, bro. But it wasn't built overnight. I didn't just wake up like this. I had to be consistent. And there are days where I was more intense than others, and there were days where I was a little laid back, but I was still doing the work and putting in the work. So, yeah, man. Consistency. I don't know how many times I've spoken about this on this podcast. Number 18. You don't only live once, you live multiple lives within one. And this one is kind of philosophical. This is kind of a deeper one. And when I read this for the first time, I kind of had to sit back and think about what this means. But to me, you don't only live once, you live multiple lives within one is very true. I feel like your life is kind of like a chapter book. As cliche as that sounds, I know that's kind of a metaphor that gets touched on a lot, but your life is kind of like a chapter book, and there are people and experiences and things that you surround yourself with and that you are engulfed in at a certain period of your time. But over time, as you grow and you evolve, hopefully for the better, and you start to learn more about yourself and the world around you, or like I said, you keep an open mind and your beliefs begin to change, those chapters end. Some people are literally only in your life to teach you a lesson. I remember my mom said that to me, not even that long ago. This was about a year ago. She said, mijo, some people are in your life to literally teach you some sort of lesson. The universe worked through that person as a vessel to teach you a lesson that you needed to learn so that you were better equipped to tackle your life in the future. And if that situation ever comes up again, you know how to handle it, you know how to avoid it, or you know how to work around it. And I truly believe that, man. And you live a million lives in one. It's kind of like my sister's a wonderful example for this, bro, because my sister growing up, it felt like every month she'd be in a new phase of just something that she loved, whether it was comic books and Wonder Woman, which she's still a big fan of, but like there was a phase where she loved Rebelde. There was a phase where she just loved like real, just like rock, kind of music, and then her music taste started evolving. There'd be just TV shows that she really got into, like Supernatural or all this stuff, and she would go through phases of obsession with all these different things, and then she kept like evolving and growing until eventually it made her the person she is today. My sister's very quirky. She's very bubbly. She's kind of nerdy, but she has just such a warm heart and is very passionate about the things she's into, you know? And I love her for that. But it's like, you are going to change and grow and evolve over time. You're not always going to be the same person, and you're not meant to. You're not meant to stay the same forever, because if you stay the same forever, it means you're not growing. You're not evolving, because evolution and progression is natural. You know, nothing stays the same, and nothing should stay the same. You should always be open to change, because the biggest thing that's going to change over time is yourself. So you don't only live once, you live multiple lives within one. And number 19, before we hit a quick intermission, is master your emotions. A calm mind can handle every storm. And this is true, man. Mastering your emotions and staying calm in trying times and treacherous eras is such a skill, man. And it's such an art. It's an admirable trait, someone who doesn't let their emotions get to them. Because when you let your emotions get to you, you can say things you don't really mean. You can do things that you know are out of line and out of pocket. And you can really damage a lot of relationships. You can damage yourself physically and mentally. And you can damage a lot of areas in your life just because you were coming from a place of emotion rather than a place of logic or a level head, you know? So if you're feeling strong emotions, I always recommend taking some time to feel those emotions. I'm not saying don't feel anything. Feel them, let them pass. Emotions are just kind of like tiny travelers that are traveling through you. You're just a pit stop, and then they continue and they move on. Feel the emotions, let them pass, and then decide how you're going to go about a certain event, a certain relationship, or whatever it may be that's making you feel that way. But don't feel that emotion and then just start making all these rash impulse decisions, because they can have consequences. So I'm going to hit a brief intermission, and then we're going to come back and get straight into the final ones, bro. I'll be back. Damas y caballeros, hoy regresamos a La Frecuencia. You thought there was going to be an episode where I didn't say that? Not today. You want to hear something treacherous? So at the intermission, I went and then I restarted the camera and I came back and I started recording the podcast, or like speaking, but I realized that I wasn't recording on this thing. And so I just did the whole second half of the podcast without actually recording the second half of the podcast. So this is take 2. If at once you don't succeed, try and try again. That's an entrepreneurial commandment from your floral father himself, off topic, off this list. If at once you don't succeed, try and try again. But where did we leave off? Number 20. And this is a common sense one, but this is something that I fall victim to, and a lot of you may fall victim to. It's don't be lazy, do the work, you won't grow from easy. And that's absolutely true. Don't be lazy, because nothing good comes from laziness. Like I said, I was hesitant for a year almost to drop this podcast, mainly because I had self-limiting beliefs about what no one's going to talk, or no one's going to listen to this. What am I going to talk about? Your podcast is going to suck. And then at the same time, I was lazy. I just quite simply didn't want to do it, because I was like, it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be up to my standards. So why even do it? I can just sit around and do other things. But don't be lazy. Once I started this podcast and I learned as I went, I love doing it. Same with the gym. There were so many years where I didn't see any growth in the gym because I was simply just lazy. I thought just showing up to the gym and running on the treadmill for an hour and then curling 15 pounds was going to get me to the point I wanted to be. But that was just pure laziness. I was like, I don't want to be here. There's other things I could be doing. And then I would go home and watch YouTube for an hour. But once I said, hey, I want to take this seriously. I want to see results. I want to see a real change in my body, my physique, and in my life, in the way I feel about myself. And I started pushing myself, and I pushed past that point of laziness. The best part is when you push past the point of laziness and you actually dive into whatever it is you're trying to accomplish, you start to enjoy the ride, and you start to get in the swing of things, and you start to obviously grow, but you start to enjoy the progress you're making, and you start to enjoy doing the thing that originally turned you off or originally was off-putting. Now I look forward to going to the gym. I like working out. It's the staple of my day. It's the highlight of my day. I look forward to putting this podcast on. It's how I stated earlier. I don't have to do these things. I get to do these things. And you kind of reach that mindset when you A, believe in yourself, when you B, are consistent with something, and when you number three, C, fight the bitch in you pretty much, and fight that laziness and do the work. And when you start doing the work and seeing the progress, it almost becomes addicting. You want to do more. You realize, oh, the only thing holding myself back was myself. And then you start to just push yourself, and you see the results, and you see the progress of where you want to be. But one of the coolest things about this list that I'm realizing is that all of these things are like one and the same. All of these tips kind of are like a domino effect. And if you do one, it starts to fall into the other one, and it falls into the other one. And they all are kind of like cogs in a machine. In order for a machine to work, all the gears and all the wiring and everything has to be working and moving efficiently and effortlessly. And everything has to be lubed up properly, and everything has to be working for the full picture machine to work. And these are kind of like the cogs in the machine for your life to be what you want it to be. 21. You stupid. You will never lose if you never quit. And that one, in layman terms, is you'll never lose if you never quit. If you never quit, how can you lose? Think about that. If you never quit, how can you lose? You can't. It's kind of like when you're running a race. You can't lose the race if you don't quit. Eventually, you're going to reach a finish line. Sure, you can trip, you can fall, you can stumble, you can sit on the sidelines for a while and take a break as you drink some water or whatever. But if you don't quit the race, you quite literally can't lose a race. There might be people that beat you in the race, but in the simplest terms, you can't lose a race if you don't quit. And if you stay consistent, and if you stay focused, and if you don't be lazy, this is back to what I'm saying about these are all one and the same. These all add up. You don't be lazy. You believe in yourself. You stay consistent. You master your emotions. You stay curious. You stay open to things. You do all these things that I'm telling you. It's only going to amplify and speed up the process. Then you can't quit, and then you're actually going to see results, and then you're actually going to beat people in the race. And then you're actually going to surprise yourself and realize that, oh, this isn't as hard as I thought it was. And then you're going to get addicted to running the race, and then you're just going to want to try harder. And then you're going to accomplish more, and you're going to succeed, and you're going to get to your destination quicker. And then once you're at your destination, you're going to say, hey, I just ran a 3K. Now I want to run a 5K. Now I want to enter a bigger race. I want to be the biggest, the baddest, and the best. I haven't said that in a while, but that's still something I live by, and that's still something I truly believe. I want to be the biggest, the baddest, and the best. And you'll get there if you just quite simply don't quit. 22. There's a big difference between people who are smart and people who get good grades. And this is very true. I know motherfuckers that are still in college that got good grades in high school, are getting good grades now. They're getting their associates, they're getting their bachelors, they're getting their masters, they're getting all these degrees. And when they get out of college, they're applying to jobs that pay the bare minimum. Jobs in their field that pay the bare minimum. There's jobs that are asking for you to have an associate's degree, and they're paying $50,000 a year, annually, $50,000. You paid so much more to even go through the schooling and the process and the teaching in college and all this shit to get that degree, to not even make enough money to pay back probably the debt that you're in now that it took you to get that degree. It's bullshit, man. Good grades does not equal smart. And I'm not saying that having those degrees makes you dumb. It's not. But there are people that did not go to college dropouts, high school dropouts even, that are making millions now, that are making a lot of money now, just because they're more so street smart and people savvy. And they kind of see how the world works, and they know what avenue they can get into to start making money or to start building a career. I just talked to someone recently, and we were talking about furries. This is kind of going to be a left turn, but we were talking about furries, those people that dress up in the big mascot outfits and do a lot of weird stuff. I don't really know a lot about the community, but I know they dress up in the crazy outfits. And apparently, one of the big things that furries love is furry porn, and they commission artists to draw furry porn for them. And my buddy was talking about a friend he had that makes close to $100,000 a year. He said $94,000 a year just by drawing furry porn. And there's people on the internet doing weird stuff that are making so much money. And they're not the smartest people. You see these people and you're like, yo, this motherfucker's kind of dumb. But they are smart in the way where they see what kind of niche they can get into. They see what kind of avenue they can benefit from and profit from. And they jump into it. They believe in themselves and they say, I don't care what anyone else thinks. I'm going to do this. And they start to make a killing. Jake Paul. A lot of you people are going to say Jake Paul is so dumb. He's so chaotic. He's crazy. He's a bad influence, whatever. But that motherfucker's making so much money. He went from Viner to YouTuber to problematic ass influencer to straight boxer. And now this kid's rolling in money. And he did it in the smartest way possible. 6ix9ine as well. A lot of people are going to say 6ix9ine is dumb. But that motherfucker was the most controversial. He knew controversy was getting eyes on him, and getting eyes on him was paying his bills. And he was releasing music, being controversial. He was the biggest troll, in my opinion, of the past like few years. He was the biggest troll. Now he's rolling in money. Is he smart? No, but he's smart where he knows how to finesse his system and make a name for himself and hit an avenue, hit a niche where he knows he can profit from. So good grades doesn't always mean that you're smart, you know? You have to have a good grasp of street smarts and book smarts, because having a good handle on both of those is really going to be a superpower. It's going to get you far. Number 23, money comes and money goes, but time only moves in one direction. And this one, at first I didn't really understand because I think they're kind of two separate entities. This is a two-in-one. It's money comes and money goes, and time only moves in one direction. And they kind of combined them. But money comes and money goes is very true. It's like that scene in Wolf of Wall Street where he's like, I've been a rich man and I've been a poor man and I would choose rich every fucking time. And everyone starts going crazy, you know? But he wasn't always rich. And sometimes to make money, you have to lose money. And sometimes you're going to make bad investments. I remember one time I was supposed to go to Palm Springs. We reserved this Airbnb, me, Coco, his girl, and a bunch of his friends, to go to Palm Springs and do this Airbnb. And I shelled out like 200 big ones for it, $200. And then when the time actually came to go on the trip, I got COVID and I couldn't go. So I kind of lost $200, and I called my mom and I was explaining this story to her. I was like, it just kind of sucks because I was really looking forward to this, but now I got COVID and I spent $200 that I'm not going to get back. And my mom said, mijo, sometimes in life we make bad investments. And that was the simplest thing she could have said for me to understand. I was like, that's so true. Sometimes in life we make bad investments. We can invest into shitty stocks. We can invest into fucking Dogecoin. We can invest into these cryptocurrencies, whatever it is. We can make bad investments, but sometimes we can make good investments. And I'm going to tell you straight up, the best investment you can make is not into crypto. It's not into stocks. It's not into any of these outlets and avenues. The best investment you can make is to invest in yourself. Because when you invest in yourself and you start to believe in yourself and you fight laziness and you start to work on yourself and you start to work on your ambitions and learn new things, build new skills, craft the person and become the person you want to be, like I said, so many opportunities are going to open up. So many avenues to make money are going to present themselves. So many things are going to work out in your favor that the best investment you can make is in yourself. But you have to do it ASAP because time only moves in one direction. And that's part 2 of this. Time only moves in one direction. And sometimes when you're investing in yourself, you're going to make more money. You're going to open yourself up to a lot of new things. But you have to do it soon because you're only running out of time. You can't go back and you can't change anything. I said this in the last podcast. You can't change a fucking thing about your past, but you can do everything in your power to change your present and your future. And that starts with investing into yourself. Number 24, keep your standards high and don't settle for something because it's available. And goddamn, bro, I don't want to relate it to this, but I'm going to relate it to relationships. I know a lot of guys that don't get an ounce of attention, and the first girl that gives them attention, they decide to just cuff that girl, and they're like, this is it. I found the one. I love her. She pays attention to me, yada, yada. But if you work on yourself, like I said, and you invest in yourself, you're going to open yourself up to a bigger dating pool of women, a bigger selection of women. And I'm not saying it's all about women, but it's like, don't settle for the first thing to come around. Don't settle for the first job opportunity to come around. It's kind of like I said, when you get out of college and you have all these degrees and someone's saying, oh, you need an associate's degree to fill this position, but you're only going to make X amount annually. And it's not something that you see as a viable option or as something that's going to benefit you. Don't settle. You have to know your worth in life. And sometimes you're going to be presented with shitty offers. And sometimes you're going to be presented with a slap in the face idea or proposal or something. And you have to believe in yourself and know your worth to just be like, no, that's dumb. Turn it down. That's not going to benefit me. That's not going to work. That's not going to get me to the next step or where I want to be. So don't keep your standards high and know your worth. And when you consistently build and focus on yourself, you build up your worth. So your standards are only going to get higher. Keep your standards high, but also keep them realistic. Obviously, it's easy to let it get to your head and for your ego to get inflated. And then you have these too high of standards where you're just a pain in the ass to work with. Don't do that, but understand that you don't have to settle for the first thing that is available. You don't have to settle for the first person that pays attention to you. You don't have to settle for the first relationship that comes along. You don't have to settle for any of these things. If something's not working for you, don't be afraid to cut it out. Keep your standards high and go for something better. So number 25, never expect to get back what you give or you will always be disappointed. And this is, in layman terms, I remember one time I was explaining to him that this dude on the fucking school playground owed me money. I lent some money out and I never got it back. And my dad told me, he said, anytime you lend out money, lend it with the expectation that you're never going to get it back. And if you're okay with that thought, if you're okay with lending out that money and knowing that you may possibly never get it back, then go ahead and lend the money and go ahead and do that. But know that whatever you give out is not expected to come back. Never expect to get back what you give or you will always be disappointed. That's very true. There's some people that'll just constantly take. And if you're just giving to them, they have no problem taking. But when you expect that energy to be reciprocated, they're not entitled to have to reciprocate that energy. You have to know where to properly invest your energy and your resources and your time and your love, your attention, your focus, all of these things. You have to have some sort of level of self-awareness to know where to spend and allocate these assets. But you are not expected to get these assets back. Now, if you invest them and plant them in good areas of your life, into good people, into good avenues, then you can start to see these things come back tenfold. You reap what you sow. It's going to come back. But if you're investing in shitty avenues, you're not going to get anything in return. Number 26, accept people for who they are and not who you want them to be. And I feel like this is a big one when you get into a relationship. A lot of people fall in love with the idea of someone, but they don't actually fall in love with that person. They see what they want to see in that person, even though that's not that person at all. They impose what they want this person to be, but that's not that person. You have to take everyone for who they truly are and the colors that they're showing you. If you start to see red flags in a person, you have to be like, don't be like, oh no, they can change or I can change them. A lot of people get into a relationship thinking I can change them. They tackle relationships like it's a little passion project, like it's a fixer-upper, like it's an old car that they want to get up and running again. And it's like, no, just don't do that, bro. That's some sort of trauma in yourself, I believe. Always thinking that you can change people or always trying to morph people to be what you want them to be. You can influence others, and that's kind of a skill that you can acquire, is influencing others, but you cannot truly change other people unless they want to be changed. People only change when they take it upon themselves or when they truly want to change. Besides that, you can't really do much to help them out. Stop glorifying ideas of people. It's kind of like when they say never meet your heroes. Like, never meet your heroes because they end up being people that you didn't expect them to be, or they end up disappointing. You set the bar so high and then they couldn't reach that bar and then you're disappointed. You have to accept people for who they are and not who you want them to be. And that's a big lesson, especially in relationships. And then number 27 is the best revenge is no revenge. What? The best revenge is no revenge. Improve yourself and forget they exist. And that's absolutely true. Tyler, the Creator, it's an old saying, but Tyler, the Creator, has a bar, and I believe it's Yonkers, where he's like, they say success is the best revenge. And success is the best revenge. But how do you reach success? You have to focus on yourself and improve yourself. And when you start focusing and improving on yourself, you start getting better. And then the person you're trying to get revenge on, they notice that. And they're like, why is this motherfucker happy? Why is this motherfucker succeeding? Why is this motherfucker enjoying their life? It's because you stopped caring what they think. You stopped trying to appease them. You stopped trying to get revenge or hurt them or damage them or do anything. And you said, hey, instead, I'm going to live a fulfilling life that they are jealous of, that they see. And in the process, I'm going to forget them. I'm going to forget the trauma they cause. I'm going to forget the pain they cause me. And I'm just going to forget about them and do me and be better. Thank you. Use them as a lesson because they motivated you to want to be better. And this is something you can use getting out of a breakup. This happens a lot. It's that old cliche thing where someone's going through a breakup and it's like, I'll see you in the gym, king. This is what happened in my last breakup is I literally was so down in the dumps, and I instead of being like, oh, I'm gonna get her, I'm gonna get revenge, I'm gonna do something to even the playing field or whatever, I said, I'm gonna focus on myself. I'm gonna heal. I'm gonna get better. I'm gonna start hitting the gym. I'm gonna become the person I want to be. It was kind of like that rule in there: become the person you want to be. If there's no good person, become one. I had to take a step back and realize, what are the things she didn't like about me and why? And are these real concerns? And a lot of them were. A lot of them was, I drank too much. I wasn't the nicest guy. I wasn't taking care of my body. I was fucking doing all these degenerate ass activities and expecting someone to stick around through that and to love me through that. And I said, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to be better. I want to be more attractive, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, all these things. I want to be better. I want to be confident. I want to invest and start making money, making more money than I was making before, and do things I love. And you start working on yourself to the point where it's like, at first the motivation was that person is getting revenge. But then after that, like I said, when you stick to something and you're consistent in something, the motivation starts to be the progress you're seeing, starts to be the efforts paying off, all the hard work beginning to get you somewhere. And then before you know it, you are reaching levels of success and you completely forgot this person exists. That person was the motivation to get you to that point, but somewhere along the line, you forget they existed and you continue doing the things because of how far you're getting, because of the person you're becoming, and because you start to love and accept and know and become one with yourself. So that's the last rule, and we're running out of time. That took us up to the time. So these were the entrepreneurial commandments. I'll throw up the post again if you guys want to check them out for yourself. I definitely recommend saving the post. I did, and going back periodically to look at it, to just kind of remind yourself of how easy this self-improvement shit really can be, and remind yourself if there's an avenue in your life where you feel like you're kind of falling apart or you're not giving it as much as you could, go through that list, see what it is, and just kind of start implementing those things slowly but surely, consistently, with a good mindset, a good attitude, a good work ethic, fighting the laziness, fighting the bitch in you, and you're going to get to where you want to be. Trust me, you're going to get to where you want to be. I got to the body I wanted, and now I want to get better. I want a sexier body. I got this podcast to most people stop. My homie literally yesterday congratulated me. He was like, hey, congrats on your podcast. I was like, why? He's like, most people quit after like 5 to 10 episodes. I was like, really? He's like, yeah, and you're still going. He's like, you took a break, but even after that break, you came back. And something as simple as that made me realize, like, damn, bro, kind of made my heart warm. I was like, thanks, dude. That was a real compliment, because it's like, I'm staying consistent with this shit. My music's kind of falling apart, I'm not going to lie, but I'm going to stay consistent with it. After Horror Nights, I'm coming with fucking ammo, bro. I'm knocking out all that shit. And because I kind of stayed consistent with it throughout the year, I was going to drop like a 3 or 4 song EP. I could drop a fucking album with all the songs I have written now, with all the songs I have piled up. So in a way, just because I wasn't dropping something doesn't mean I wasn't working on it. I was still consistent with my music. I made music with Coco. I made music by myself. And now I have enough songs to drop an album if I wanted to. So it's like, consistency is going to get you far enough. And even if the hard work, nobody sees the hard work, they're going to see when the payoff happens. And they're going to think, oh, he's lucky. Oh, he's lucky. Oh, he's an overnight success. Oh, but they didn't see the fucking years that you had to grind your ass off to a fine powder to get there. So continue grinding your ass to a fine powder. If you need any help, don't be afraid to reach out to me. And I want nothing but love, success, health, wealth, love, and happiness for all of you. As always, I'm sending love and positive energy your way. I'm checking out, baby. I'll see you on the next one.